Okay, guys, welcome to Crypto News and Investigative Reports. I'm glad that you're joining me. It's kind of late, and I'm up late, and I'm just going to put a video together real quick. I want to talk about a couple of things real quick. First of all, please subscribe to Crypto News and Investigative Reports to the CNIR community. Please join my investigative community. I'm kind of hooking up with a couple of other investigative crypto investigators, and I really think it's really cool. I try to run things by other investigators before I put it out there. So anyway, please join Crypto News and Investigative Reports community, CNIR community. We want to get our views up. Please follow us on Twitter. Here's our handle right here, Crypto News and Investigative Reports on RobTech, right there, RobTechP. There we go. All right. So I've been getting some comments. So and I want to say to you, if you leave me some comments, make sure they're good ones and not what just somebody else said. Because I'm starting to get comments that somebody else said this and somebody else said that. Hey guys, I really don't have time to respond to what other people are saying, because I'm really trying to make sure that I can get you good research and good information and get that over to you. So please, also subscribe. Hit that button, that subscription button, and subscribe. We're trying to get our video, our documentary out, but we want to get our numbers up before we release the documentary. We want to try to get our numbers up first, and so we have a goal. If you leave me some comments, I'll tell you what our goals are and what we're trying to do for the Crypto News and Investigative Report, this investigation community, and you can send us some stuff. We're happy to go through it as an investigative group. I'm going to start eventually letting you know who else is helping me out with these investigations, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's like an onion, guys. It just keeps peeling and peeling and peeling and peeling. So please join the CNIR community, and thank you for watching our video, Crypto News and Investigative Reports. All right. With that being said, let me move to this picture right here. This picture right here, guys, in one of my former videos, you should go back and take a look at it. I talk about the meeting of the finance ministers of the central bank governors. And the reason why I got this picture up is because here's Christine Lagarde right here. She's right here. And this is Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve in the United States of America. Jerome Powell is the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Christine is over the International Monetary Fund. So, and all of the rest of these people are ministers of central banks. And this is a voting body of ministers of the central banks. This guy right here, or this lady right here, or nobody, even Jerome Powell, they're sitting kind of close in this picture. I don't know what's going on. He might be talking to her like, hey, can you get Ripple? And she's probably like, I'm going to try to get Chris Larson to give us Ripple. He's like, okay, well, we could talk about it later on tonight. No, I don't know. I don't know if that's what he's saying. But the point here is that none of these ministers can just go off and do whatever they want. This is a voting body. They have to vote. So this minister of the central bank cannot just start using XRP. It has to be voted on. That's why they meet. They have guidelines. They have regulations. And so none of these guys can just break off and start doing whatever they want to do. They have to work together to govern themselves in terms of understanding which virtual currency they want to use. Now, for me, what I'm hoping, along with all of you other people that understand that Ripple and the digital asset XRP are best for banking, X-Rapid, X-Via, X-Current, X-Spring, and every other, 2.0, 3.0, whatever Ripple Labs is doing. I believe, like a lot of other people believe out there, that Ripple is the best for banking. But what we don't have at any current time right now, none of the central banks are using XRP. And that's what I'm going to address real quick tonight, because I just kind of want to get the truth out on that. None of these central banks, none of these guys have gotten a vote, and it's been clear that this whole group of central bank ministers are saying we all going to use XRP. That would be great. I mean, I wish it was true that all of these guys have voted and Now we know that they are going to use XRP, but that has not happened. As far as I know, somebody else might know that they all voted to use XRP. But I'm saying that this is actually one body, guys. This is a body. They're all governed by laws, by guidelines, by rules, by regulations, and it really takes a long time to really get laws passed with these guys. They all have their different these ministers of the central banks, man. They got to deal with inflation. They got to deal with unemployment. They got to deal with credit. They got to deal with loans. They got to deal with all other kind of catastrophes that are going on in their countries. They handle the national banks for their countries. And so they're all governed. They all have to make rules by voting and by governing and that kind of a thing. So it's just not one guy just not take off and start using XRP. The Bank of England cannot just take off and start using XRP. Okay, if it's a central bank, it can't do that. It just doesn't work like that, guys. And I know that, and I'll show you a little bit more. So hopefully you guys do understand that this is a governing body and they all work together. All right. And with that being said, now let me move on because I want to kind of make this video short. I already asked you to follow me on Twitter, and I just posted this to this was a little something I did yesterday. On one of my previous videos. But anyway, let me move on. Please follow me on Twitter. All right. So let's talk about the Bank of England. Before I go there, the Bank of England right here. I just want to read this paragraph about the Bank of England. The Bank of England is a central bank of the United Kingdom. It is the model on which most modern central banks have been based. It is set up to act as the governor's bank, and it is still the bankers for the British government. The bank was privately owned in 1964. And so, did I bring up? Oh, here we go. Now, Brad Garlinghouse said, the Bank of England, this is what he said. And he hasn't said anything since. Okay, so let's break this down. The Bank of England is a paid customer of Ripple, as well as another central bank that's unannounced. So here we go. We can't say anything about the other central bank that's unannounced. This is a year ago. He made this comment a year ago, and nothing else has been said about the central banks. All right, so we don't know what this other central bank is that Brad Garlinghouse is talking about here. Flat, point blank, period. If we say anything about this central bank that's unannounced, we would be speculating. I could speculate on it. I can make some comments on it, but I'm just for the sake of this video, I'm not going to do that. So we'll kill that right now. We don't know what bank this is. All right, and then he says the Bank of England is a paid customer of Ripple. All right, so what is the Bank of England actually paying for? XRP? No, they're not using XRP. The Bank of England is not using XRP. I told you, because if they were, all of these people would have to vote on something like that. You don't just take off and start using XRP. All right. With that being said, so what is the Bank of England paying for? And so, first, the Bank of England. What is the Bank of England? So I think I just read what the Bank of England is. The Bank of England is the central bank of the United Kingdom. It is the model on which most modern central banks have been based. Blah, 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 blah. I read that. So what it is just the bank of the British government. That is not the bank of the Eurozone, by the way. I want to make that clear. Catch that, guys. It's not the bank of the Eurozone. It's just a central bank of the British government, of the British. That's exactly what it is, right? All right. Now, the difference between the Bank of England and then there's this bank. That's not where I want to go. Right here, the European Central Bank. All right, that's different. The European Central Bank. I'm gonna highlight it so I can read it a little better. It's kind of late. The European Central Bank is the central bank for the euro and administers monetary policy of the Eurozone, which consists of 19 EU member states and is one of the largest currency areas in the world. Okay? That's completely different from the Bank of England. All right? All right. So, first of all, it's not the larger one. The European Central Bank is the larger bank. But then again, the European Central Bank cannot take off and go do what it's done. It's got 19 other members of states that it has to be accountable to. So it's not using Ripple XRP either. So let's go back to the comment Brad Garlinghouse made. The Bank of England is a paid customer of Ripple. What are they paying for? Now you guys got to remember this. Let me see if I can get around here. I got so many things up right here. You remember this? The Bank of England, Ripple, they paid for the proof of concept results. It says right here, the results of the Bank of England and Ripple's proofs of concepts published. That's what they were a customer doing. That's what they were paying for. They were paying for the test. Okay? Brad Garlinghouse didn't say that, but it was true when he made the statement, the Bank of England is a paid customer of Ripple, because they were a paid customer of Ripple. He can tell you that. He made it perfectly clear. He said, the Bank of England is a paid customer, as well as another central bank that's unannounced in that video that everybody's watching. And it's absolutely true, but you have to ask yourself, what is he paying for? They're not using XRP, okay, because I already explained why. They'd have to go through banking regulations, and which is central banking regulations, the primary source of the framework legislation governing the regulations of banking and the financial services in the UK. They got to go through the banking laws in order to change what they're doing. And not only do they have to go through the banking laws, they got to talk to Christine of the IMF. You know, they just don't get to take off and just start using Ripple. So this is what they were paying for. The Bank of England, the Bank of England and Ripple POC results. It says the results of the Bank of England and Ripple's proof of concept published. It says the Bank of England recently, the Bank of England released its blueprint concerning synchronization capabilities to its future real-time gross settlement system, RTGS. This would enable payments in RTGS to be executed simultaneously with a movement to another asset. One potential usage of the capability could be the cross-border payments, which movement in the sterling RTGS system could be synchronized with movements in another currency. That's awesome news, and this is what the Bank of England was a customer paying for. Thus, the bank chose Ripple. There it is, guys. You read that? Thus, the bank chose Ripple. That's how they became a paying customer. The bank chose Ripple in order to test whether blockchain technology could enable its global RTGS capability. And then it was tweeted by Ripple right here, guys. All right? The Bank of England POC with Ripple proves cross-border payments can be processed across two RTGS systems simultaneously. All right? 8/2017. All right? The results of the Bank of England / Ripple proof of concept publication. The Bank of England says that the proof of work was a useful exercise to develop the banking's understanding of synchronization and possible technical blah 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 whatever. And then let me jump down to this, and I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I didn't really want it to be too long. I just wanted to let you know about this, guys. It says the Bank of England POC with Ripple is a watershed moment. We applaud them for being one of the first central banks worldwide to look at how blockchain technology can power instant international payments. Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. And then it says here, it says, the bank says that the POC was a useful exercise to develop the bank's understanding of synchronization and possible technical solutions. In other words, Ripple solutions showed promise in enabling the RTGS system, which seamlessly supports interoperability globally. So I'm trying to tell you guys, and I hope you're getting it here, is that because of this statement is not saying that the Bank of England is a paid customer of Ripple and is using XRP? No. As well as another central bank that's unannounced. They were testing, and the Bank of England paid Ripple for the testing of using their service. All right? So I hope that clears up what, I'm getting some comments too from Crypto News and Investigative Reports. We're getting some comments on that, about Brad Garlinghouse said that, that they got a central bank. You guys, remember, these guys got to vote. This is why you got to understand that there is a broader perspective when it comes to virtual currencies around the world. If you're going to be moving money around the world globally, the picture that you're looking at on the screen, these are the guys that are going to make it happen. And these are the guys that were at Davos. These are the guys that meet 3 or 4 times a year. This is central bank. These are the people that print up the money. These ministers of the central bank, the governors of the central bank. That is where global mass adoption will take place, when they decide that they want to use XRP. When everybody you're looking at says, okay, let's use XRP as the intermediary for banking. I think it's a great idea, by the way. I'd be, glad. I'd be super happy about that. But that hasn't happened yet. Okay? So, and none of these central banks can take off and do anything on an isolated island. They have to work together because they have so much responsibility that they carry as ministers and governors of the central banks. Hope that clarifies some of the stuff that's going on here with what people are saying. And I want to give you a little something that's not specifically related to virtual currency, but it is very important because it is something that should take place today. Today is Monday, and it may have already taken place in your time zone. And then I'm going to cut off here. EU will unveil SPV on Monday, all right, which is today. The European Commission said it's seeking to launch very soon something called the Special Purpose Vehicle. And so, like I said, this is not directly related to virtual currency, but it is indirectly related because of the broader understanding of global money moving around the world. Some of those guys in that previous picture that you said has to agree to this for this to take place. All right, so it's called something called the Special Purpose Vehicle to help European companies bypass U.S. sanctions on Iran. And did you catch that? That's big. Bypass U.S. sanctions on Iran. That's what stepped out at me, guys, when I read this article. I was like, really? The United States of America, their friends, are working on something to bypass UN sanctions on Iran. It says, with these European diplomats saying the officially unveiling could come as early as Monday. I'll read just a little bit more. Let me jump down right here and I'll highlight it because it's easier to read once it's highlighted. And it says right here, it says, the EU, led by France, Germany, and the UK, has struggled to find a government willing to host the vehicle, which risks drawing criticism from the American administration. Still, the EU foreign policy chief has said in December that the SPV, which is the Special Purpose Vehicle, would be established by the start of 2019. That's real. This is real serious, guys. The SPV preparations has progressed and they are at an advanced stage, the spokesperson said. I hope we can announce the launch very soon. So, like I said, it's indirectly related because they're still going to try to work with some of these countries that the United States have sanctions on. This SPV is bypassing. And then I'll throw this out at you, and I'm sure I'll get some comments about it. What if they did the same thing with Venezuela? Because Venezuela is actually having some political turmoil right now. There's somebody that the United States is supporting as a president. Then there's the countries like Russia and China are still supporting the previous president, and the point here being is that the previous president wants to go completely with virtual currency, completely with their own cryptocurrency. So I think right now what's happening in Iran, what's happening in Venezuela are absolutely great test projects to see how virtual currency can withstand political turmoil. I think that's a great thing. I'm going to be trying to pay close attention to that and watch the outcome. All right, guys. Once again, it's Crypto News and Investigative Reports. Please follow us on Twitter. We're doing a documentary on banking, and we want to release that banking. But prior to that, we want to get our numbers up. Okay? Please subscribe. Hit that subscription button. Hit that bell, and you can get an alert every time we put a video up. And follow us on Twitter. Wherever you are. If it's nighttime, have a good night. If it's daytime, have a good day. We'll talk to you real soon.